What is up, guys? It's GameStorms here. Sorry that my voice is a bit scratchy. I've kind of lost it in the past few days. But I'm here with some more Star Wars Battlefront. I had to make this video now, though, because in a week, when I get my voice back, it will pretty much mean nothing. But before we get started, I have some tragic news. The Battlefront beta is over. No! Now we have to wait a month until we can play it again. By then, I will probably have gone into a deep depression. You know, because I have to wait so long. But let's get serious though. Today I want to tell you guys my opinion on the game. I've played lots of Battlefront. I played the originals, like There's No Tomorrow. Put a good amount of time into this one as well. To be exact, I put about 16 hours into the game. I had 450,000 scored in my name, and was able to average just below a 3.0 KD with winning 50% of my matches. So I think I am qualified to give a decent opinion. As you all know, there was only 2 game modes and 2 maps, so I want to go over the game modes with the map as individuals so I can make it easier to what I want to talk about for each game mode, each map. So let's start out with Drop Pod and Solus. Now I only put a couple hours into Drop Pod because I just didn't have fun with it. I didn't think it was very fun. I never got to do anything amazing in it. Had some good games, some bad games, but overall it just wasn't what I wanted. So it's an interesting game mode. It really is. You have to protect the pods if you get the pod. Even if you don't get the pod, power-ups drop out and you can pick up the power-ups. But I don't know. It just seems the spawns are a bit bad with it. It seems like even if you're losing, it doesn't do anything different with spawns, which is fine. I like that. That's good. Just because you're losing, they should make it easier. But the spawns are still screwed up to where, like, if you're losing, let's say 3-0, the next pod may drop, and they'll have the enemy team actually spawned there just before it dropped. So it's kind of unfair in that regard because you're already losing. So why does the enemy team need help and spawn at the next capture, and now they can capture it even better or even easier? Because pretty much once you have a spot set up a certain way, you really can't get in and you're gonna die unless you somehow can get your shield up and get all the way over to the thing and capture it. But let's be honest, it doesn't happen very often. Especially for me, I always tried to use the shield, but I always had teammates who just didn't know what they were doing, and then I would just lose the game anyway, even though I had the most kills. It was just ridiculous and retarded. So to me, that game mode is kind of and that it needs to be played with friends because you really need the cooperation on where each person needs to sit and set up to defend the pod. So I think it'll be good once the game's out and there's different maps. The game mode will be better, just for that map in general, Solus, and just not playing with friends on the game mode kind of just didn't really set well with me. But the map itself, Solus, is actually, it looks great. It's amazing. The graphics in the game are just amazing. It has lots of mixes to the terrain. You have the cliffs, trenches, pits, and the ship in the middle, so you can play differently, whatever your playstyle is. If you want to play high, you can play high. If you want to play down low, you can still play down low because of all the trenches and in between the crevices and everything. It's an amazing map. Now on to the next game mode of Walker Assault and Hoth. Now this is where I spent the majority of my time playing. I think this game mode is just amazing, and that there's nothing wrong with it except it was a bit one-sided with the Imperials. But I think it was meant to be like that, since in the movies the rebels actually lose that fight. So it's not supposed to be an even match. It's supposed to be a bit one-sided to the Imperials because the rebels have to try and fight back against all the machines or not machines, vehicles, because they are vehicles, and stop their shield generator from being destroyed. So I think that one is pretty good. It's not really that big of a problem. And in that game mode, if you actually have a good party of friends, you can still easily win the match as the rebels with teamwork. So it becomes less of a one-sided game mode if you have teammates, friends that you play with well and everything, because you can tell each other, oh, go get the ship now if you can get the ship, blah blah blah, I'm posting up here, defend this comm station, defend this one, whatever. So it becomes less of a one-sided fight. Now, I heard a lot during the beta that people were complaining about the spawn system as the rebels, and that they would just get spawn killed or camped out of their spawn. As soon as they ran out of spawn, they would just die being camped out. But I think this is somewhat true, but if you were at a certain skill level in the beta, you could get yourself out most of the time, unless you were being camped out. Where I had multiple times where I would spawn. If I ran one direction, there was an ATST. If I ran the other direction, there was an ATST. So I was kind of like camped in until one of the ATSTs was eventually destroyed. But it didn't happen too often to me. I didn't think it really was a problem. I didn't really complain about it at all, because it didn't really happen to me, and I always was able to get out. I would see my teammates get murdered, but I was always get out and at least get a couple kills before I died. So it wasn't too bad to me. And I'm sure that they will be fixing the spawns though in the game mode, because yes, you do spawn right in front of the enemy sometimes, and in the beta it was easy to determine where the enemy was going to spawn. There was only 2 or 3 set spawn points at each spot, so I could easily determine where they were going to spawn and call down orbital strikes and whatever. And as well as Hoth, it was an amazing looking map, of course, because the graphics for the game are just out of this world. They are just probably top-notch graphics out of any game that I've played so far. They're just great, fantastic. They look exactly like you're in a movie or something. It's just amazing. Now let's talk a little about the guns. Overall, I think the guns are pretty balanced. I've tried them all, and each of them have their own play style. And of course, I like some more than I like others. When I mean play style, what is it? The AC-280, I think that's what it's called. The E11. Those are your rifles. They play pretty average on every scale. They play good at medium range. They play good at close range. They drop down a little bit when they're at long range, but they're still good. You have the DL. What is it? 2? I forget whatever it is. The light machine gun. That is good at long range because it's very accurate. It keeps in a straight line. Medium range, it's still good. Close range, it kind of lacks. And then you have your pistol, the DH-17, I think it's called, where that just lacks overall. It's alright at medium range, but it's very good at close range. So every gun has their own play style. They'll benefit at a certain distance and range, and you have to learn how to play with the weapon. So none of the weapons are overpowered. None of them are too weak. You have to play a certain way, and I like that. And there's going to be more guns, and we're going to have to learn how to play with those. Now, one thing I hope changes though is the heroes. To me, they seemed a bit weak. Usually when I became a hero, I'd get 6 to 8 kills with them and then I'd die. I don't think that's enough. I think you should get somewhere between 12 to 15 kills every time. Because, I don't know, I just feel like they should be a lot more stronger, or at least have a lot more health than what they have. Because in the original Battlefront, you could go for days as the hero before you died. But yeah, I don't want it to be like that in a freaking online type of status, you know. You don't want to just have the heroes running around killing everybody. But I do think they should increase the health for them a bit. They did seem a bit weak. In certain cases, you could kill the hero without them really getting any kills whatsoever. But hopefully they'll change that. That's the only thing I want changed. Vehicles are pretty solid. They aren't overpowered. They did very good with them. They are set balanced. You can destroy them quickly. Their choices are really nice. There's no one weapon that just completely dominates on the vehicles. You have to be very accurate because it doesn't shoot exactly where you aim. It shoots down below from where you aim. So a lot of people had problems with that. I learned that quick. And the ships that you fly, they're not too hard. They're easy to control. It just takes a good minute or two, and you have to the controls grasp down, and you'll stop crashing into mountains like you do at the start. And last but not least is the survival. It is good, but it definitely will be loads more fun with friends. I only got to play it solo, but with friends I know it's going to be lots of fun. I played like Gears of War, played Horde mode and stuff. It's kind of like the same. It's kind of in the same preference as that, and I have a blast on that. So there you guys go. That is what I think so far of the game, and with the amount of time I put into this game, with the limited content, and not get bored, I can tell you that this game is going to be amazing on launch with all the maps, more game modes, more weapons, a bunch more heroes. It's just going to be amazing. And I'm more excited for the game now than I was before. And I hope you all are ready to face me when it comes out. Anyways, guys, that is all. I want you to leave in the comments what you thought of the beta yourself. So until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.